Hi, this is Mr. Moss, and we're here with several of the students in our class. We're working on long division and partial quotients division. We're going to try a couple of problems, and we're going to do them two different ways. We're going to do it using the long division strategy and using partial quotient strategy so that people can watch this video and decide which strategy makes the most sense for them. Either way, all of the problems on this worksheet are written horizontal. They're written across. So either way, we're going to need to rewrite them. The difference in writing it between partial quotients and long division is just whether you put that vertical line that you'd use in partial quotients. So the first one we are going to do is partial quotient. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7 into 448. And for partial quotients, we know that we draw that line downward because we're going to need to show how many times it fits in. So the first thing I'm going to do is think about, okay, I can't do 7 into 700. That's usually would be my first thought, right? To see if it can go 900 times, because of course we don't have 700 here to work with. So what can I do 7 into? Yes?
70.
Yeah, I could do 7 into 70, sure. Now that's going to take me a bunch of times to kind of go through and chip away at it. Now let's think. Let's do some of our extended facts here, right? 7 times what is something close to, let's just look at 44. Let's simplify this for a minute. Think about my favorite multiplication fact.
4 times 6.
7 times 6 equals
42.
42. So maybe if I put a 0, how about 420?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take out here 420. And how many times does 7 go into 420? Any of you are welcome to chime in with that. Yeah.
60.
What?
60.
60 times, exactly. So I'm going to write 60. And the odd thing of when I do it, I actually like to write the word times. You don't need to, but I like to write 60 times as a way of remembering that I'm talking about how many times it goes in. What am I left with? Let's do a little subtraction here. 8 minus 0 is 8. 4 minus 2 is 2. So is it 82?
Yeah.
Or is it 28? 28 right here. That's fine. You're standing backwards, so I know why it looked like 82 right there. So we're left with 28. How many times does 7 go into 28? Or do we want to break it up? 4 times. But we could, if we really wanted, we could break that up and take out 7. We could do 14. We could do 21, whatever you wanted, right? That's the nice part about partial quotients. But I'm going to take out 28 here. And I know that goes in 4 times. And that leaves me with none right here. I have no remainder, right? And that tells me that when I add up my partial quotients, how many times does it all go in? What's my total quotient? Yes?
64.
What?
64.
64 times, exactly. And so I know that I'm going to write my partial quotient up here on the top as 64. We always kind of push it over to the right side here. Our answer is 64. Now let's do the same problem again as long division. We know that our steps for long division are that we divide, multiply, subtract, check our work, bring down. That part repeats itself. And then at the end, after we've gone through all those steps, we have to check and ask ourselves if our answer makes sense. So I don't have a ton of room here. I'm going to try to squeeze it in here.
Yeah, I really don't.
7 into, and that's okay. 7 into 448. And in this particular problem, can I do 7 into 4?
No.
No, I can't do that. How about 7 into then 44? How many times does 7 go into 44?
6 times.
6 times, right? Because I know that 7 times 6 equals 42. So I've done my division. Now I'm going to go and multiply. And I know that I'm multiplying what's on top by what's on the side. 6 times 7 equals?
42.
42. All right. 44 minus 42 equals what? Anyway, let's get some new people. 44 minus 42 equals what? No? That's okay. All right.
42. You can't do that.
2. Right? She got it. No worries. So we have 2. And now we're going to, so we've done our subtraction, now we're going to check. Can 7 ever go into 2?
Yes. No.
It can't. Right? It can't, right?
No.
No way. So we are going to bring down, that's our next step now. We're going to bring down the 8, and we get 28. And by the way, you should notice that I'm left with 28 right here. Just like before when we did it, I was left with 28. So we're really almost mirroring the strategies here. How many times now can 7 go into 28? We're ready to divide again.
4.
4 times, right? Okay. And then we're going to do 4 times 7 equals
28.
28. We multiply. Now we're going to subtract. 28 minus 28 equals
0.
0. So we have no remainder. There's nothing else for me to bring down here. So my answer is 64. And we have to think, does my answer seem reasonable? Well, what's 60 times 7?
420.
420. Is that kind of close to 448? Within reason? Yes, that's showing me that my answer is reasonable. Now, this was 2 strategies to do this one. Let's take a look at letter B. 698 divided by 5, right, gang? We're gonna do partial quotients first. So I'm gonna do 5 into, I'm gonna try and leave myself more room. You guys can try and leave more room also if you'd like. 5 into 698. We draw my line down, refocus my camera here. Okay, 5 into 698. What's my starting point?
500.
Right, I can pull out 500. How many times does 5 go into 500?
100.
Person over there at the end who I'm not going to say your name because we're putting this video online. How many times does 5 go into 500?
100 times.
100 times. Nice job. 100 times, right? So now I'm going to do my subtraction. 698 minus 500 equals?
198.
Good job, 198. Now here's where the beauty of partial quotients comes in. You get to pick what makes sense for you. Are you going to take out maybe 100? You could take out 100 certainly. You could do 50 because that's nice and easy. 50 divided by 5. I could do 150. I could do whatever I want to do here. So you guys tell me, what do you want to take out from here? What makes sense? Want to do 100? Yeah, let's do 100. Why not? Okay. How many times does 5 go into 100?
20.
Or what's 100 divided by 5?
20.
20. Okay.
Times.
20. Oh, thank you for reminding me to put in the word times here. Like I said, you don't need to put in the word times, but you sure can.
I like
And for me, it helps me to kind of keep track of what I'm doing
I
here.
did.
Okay. So now we're left with, good job, we're left with 98. So now again, we come to an option. I know when I'm thinking about, I know that anything divisible by 5 ends with a blank or a blank.
Yeah.
What could it end?
A 0 or a 5.
A 0 or a 5, right? So in this case, I know that I could probably do 95. I could do, though, 80, 70. 75 is a nice familiar, it's not a round number, but it's an easy number for us to work with. I could do 75. I could take out 50. I could take out 25. What do you want to do? No. Let's do 25.
Yeah.
Let's do 25. 25 is an easy one to work with. How many times does 5 go into 25? Another way to remember that is what's 5 times what equals 25?
5 times 7. Hard. Can I show you a thing? Can I show you a secret?
5.
5 times, exactly, good. So we know that's going to go in 5 times. And now what's left?
73.
Everyone agree? 73, okay?
Oh no, I'm running out of
Yeah, that's the thing. Partial quotients can be a very long process in terms of taking a lot of vertical space, right?
big number.
Okay, let's do a big number. What can we do?
75.
You only have 73 here. You can't take out 75.
Let's do 50.
Let's do 50, okay? 50 is a nice, easy one to work with. How many times does 5 go into 50?
I don't have enough room.
All right. Well, you know, just go down into that next one a little bit then.
10 times.
10 times, right?
23.
10 times. Now we're left with 23. We are going to get close to the end here. Okay, let's take out 20. How many times does 5 go into 20?
So you put the answer right here.
20.
Show your work.
4 times.
What is it?
4 times.
4 times. Okay. So that's 4 times. And what am I left with?
3.
I'm left with 3. So we know that, can I do 5 into 3 at all here?
No.
No, that's going to be my, what's the word? Remainder. So I can even go up here and I can put my little remainder of 3. I know that I'm going to have that as a remainder. But now I have to add up all of my partial quotients that are right here. All right? Go ahead. Help me out. 100 plus 20 is?
120.
120 plus 5 is?
125.
125 plus 10 is?
135.
135 plus 4 is?
139. What?
Did you guys get the same answer? 139?
Yep.
120, 125, 135, 139. So,
And a remainder. You were 49? Not 39?
no, 139.
With a remainder of 3.
So check your numbers to make sure that you wrote down the correct numbers. Right, we can't forget that remainder of 3 right there, but that's our answer, 139 with remainder of 3. Let's do one last one, but we're going to do it now in long division. So, you what? That's okay. That's okay. So we're going to do now 5 into 698, but we're going to use now long division. My first step is to always what? What are we going to do here? Divide, right. So 5 into 6 goes how many times?
1 time.
1 time. What's our next step?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract, no, not subtract yet.
Multiply.
Remember, it's D, M, S, C, B.
Maybe you could tell the
1 times 5 is?
1 times 5 is 5.
5. What did you want to say?
Maybe you should tell them how to remember. I'm not.
Oh yeah, what's the way that we can remember the steps if we've forgotten?
Do McDonald's.
Does McDonald's
sell cheeseburgers?
That's a great way if you just write it in the corner. You know, honestly, you can even just put this on the corner of your worksheet here. You know, it's a way of remembering. Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. That's the part that repeats. And then we're going to divide right there. All right? So let's work to see if we can go through the steps right now. All right? We hope this was a helpful guide for you. You guys can enjoy.